get out if I'm making my payments? The bank's telling me I have to sell my home. What are some of the other things that you've heard? Some of them will offer a few different options, and we'll go over all of those. Okay, so here we are. Now what do we do? So there's a bunch of choices, and a lot of people don't know all of those choices, so what they do is they're like, well, I think I'm going to just throw my hands up and walk away. Or, you know what, I'm just going to wait until the bank comes and they foreclose on me and kick me out. I'll wait and do that. Maybe I'll just do a short sale, and, well, I can save my credit. Sure, that's an option, because you get a better chance of saving credit with the short sale. And then you've got, oh, well, I'm just going to not do anything. I'm just going to wait and see what happens. This is where some people will get paralyzed, not sure what they need to do, and they just hope that it will go away. There's also bankruptcy, and we're going to talk about all of those options. And again, those are options, and there's really not a perfect option. Basically, there's a lot of evils out there, and our goal is to be able to give you the information so you can make the healthiest decisions for you, so that way, out of all of the evils, the lesser of the evil is the one that you can stomach and move forward and get back on with your lives with. So the options, here we are. A, you can continue to pay the bank. Well, we learned by that previous graph that that's a lot of money that continues to go into the bank, and will it ever pay out? Some homeowners will look at option B, which is, oh, I want to borrow some money from friends or family. I think it disappeared. Here we go. However, I'm not related to Oprah, and so I called and I said, can you help me? I've got a few properties, and no, that's not going to work out. Even if I was to, in this industry, lose a job and try to get back in a job, maybe I can get my family to help me for a month, but not in this type of an economy where the market has come so dramatically down, and it will take years. And that 13-year timeline that I showed you on the previous slide, that 13 years is really a low estimate. I know people are hearing more like 20 years. If you did the math on a $100,000 home and you just add on that 3.5% or even the gracious amount of 4.5% every year for the appreciated value on that home, $100,000 is only going to appreciate $4,500, or we'll round it to $5,000 by year 2. Another $5,000 by year 3. Another $5,000 by year 4. And as you can see, that's going up very slow. And if you do the math, and it's not putting a lot of equity back in the pocket based on the 100-year timeline. So what is our next option? We can rent out the home and become a landlord. And that's possible. However, what I'm hearing is the homeowner says, I'm going to rent it out. We're going to go ahead and get someone in here. They're going to offset the mortgage. And what they're finding out is that no one wants to rent for what the old mortgage amount was. So we got homeowners that are coming out of pocket to still pay for that property, and they're upside down. And then the house is starting to look a little like this, because even the tenants don't care, and they're starting to, have issues with the home in regards to not taking care of carpeting, repairs on the property. And so a lot of homeowners are getting a little distressed with that, because they find out, well, I tried to do this, I considered it, and all of a sudden I had a water heater go out and I'm paying for this, and the tenant didn't call me for 3 days, so now I got mold. And all these expenses start to fall onto the homeowner. So then we have what the banks will recommend, which is usually loan modification. So let's talk about that. One of the things that I find out is people they come into my office and they say, I've tried to do the loan modification and I don't understand it. The bank has asked me for a wealth of information. They want a hardship letter. They want my taxes. They asked me for this letter of explanation of what's going on, and they've done it 2 or 3 times. Why is it that they're not helping me? Well, they're looking at the information, that's sure. But what they are doing by putting you into this state is they're getting you to answer questions that you may not have had to answer. It's almost like going to court to some extent without a lawyer. And the reason I say that is because they're taking a snapshot of you in today's world, and you may have gotten your loan 10 years ago. And if you had your loan 10 years ago, who knows what job you had, etc. But they want the updated picture, because guess what the bank's their real name is? Bank of America kind of sounds pretty, but they really are a debt collector. Their job is to collect a debt for someone else. There's somebody behind that money that they gave out to you as the consumer. That person behind the money wants it back, and they want it back with interest. And if they can't get it back with interest over time, they're going to say, go get my property back. And if the property has been insured, they might make more money on the property, and we'll talk about that later on as well. But their goal is to get an updated collection picture on that homeowner so they can collect on them later on. And we see that where homeowners say, I did the loan, or I tried to do the loan mod, and I actually got the loan mod, but after I received my paperwork, they said that I'm going to adjust after my second year. The adjustment went from a 2% interest in the first 2 years, but then I adjusted 1 full point in the third year, and by the time I got to the 5th year, I was up to 7%. So what they're doing is, if we go back to that graph where the graph had gone up, the goal for that investor is to try to push people out of their home with higher interest payments now, and then be able to collect that home and higher interest payments. If you can pay the higher interest, great. But what they've done is they take that, let's say $1,500 payment, they reduce it down to $1,000 so it's more comfortable. They take the unpaid $500 and they stack it on that back end of the loan. So your principal starts to go up. Now the market might be going down, but your principal's going in the wrong direction. The market might be stabilizing, but the principal's still going up. And the market might even be good and go up. But at 7% interest, guess what's happening to that principal? It's also going up. And the unpaid $500 month after month after month is going on the back end. That's why they say, well, we're going to do your loan modification for you today, but by the way, you're going to have a balloon in 30 years. Oh, a balloon's not good, then let's stretch that out to 40 years for you. So now you got a home that you may not even live to see the end of, and the bank will get that property back for their investors, and eventually the investor will win. So what's the truth? I think this is what we're looking at with what the truth is when we start talking about loan modification.